aspect for college athletes. Here we have Michaela Prevost, who's a Texas A&M University track and field member, and John Tangwa, who's helps with the nutrition part of the athletes. So great to have you guys here. Thanks for making time in your schedule.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, of course. Michaela, let's start with you. Give us a little bit of your background.
It's really not that complex. I started track my junior year of high school. I was actually a soccer player, and I kind of just jumped into track to stay in shape. I was at a really small school, so I could do both sports. And won state and just kind of kept going with it. And my dad graduated from A&M, so it was always like really big to come here. So started the whole recruitment process, and it worked out. And now I'm at my second year at A&M.
Wonderful. So what event do you run?
I'm primarily a 200 runner, but I do like the short sprints, so like 100, 200, but 200 is my favorite by far, for sure. It's not very complex.
Sounds hard.
You just kind of keep running until you're out of breath.
And what's your major?
I'm actually just general studies, but I'm going to go into probably business management with a minor in telecommunications.
And your expected graduation?
Okay, 2015, but we'll see.
Awesome. And John, what is your experience here at Texas A&M?
Well, this is my 5th football season here. Started here right after my dietetic internship, which is kind of the education that you have to get to become a registered dietitian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that registration.
Okay. Well, it's a certification process that you have to go through to basically really do clinical work in a hospital, and give out nutrition advice. So I'm certified, passed the national board exam, and licensed by the state as a dietitian.
Very cool. And where did you do your undergrad at?
My undergrad is at Connecticut College. I'm originally from Massachusetts, and undergrad is actually in zoology.
Very cool. So what made you transfer to?
I always liked the science aspect of biology and zoology, but didn't really know how I wanted to apply it. So I actually took a couple of years off after undergrad, and kind of got into working out in athletics a little bit more, and kind of started eating better and wanted to figure out how nutrition and athletics related to each other.
So do you help with nutrition for a specific sport or all athletic sports here at A&M?
Well, I'm the director of performance nutrition here at Texas A&M, so we work with all the sports teams. There's myself, and I've got a full-time assistant, so there's 2 full-time dietitians that work in the athletic department, and we kind of divide and conquer. I primarily work with football, the basketball teams, and baseball, and Diana, her office is located on the West Campus training room, so that's where track and softball and soccer are, so she works primarily with those sports.
And I'm guessing you have a lot of long-hour days, I'm sure, with athletes up at the crack of dawn and practicing late into the night. So how often do you meet with your athletes?
Most of my meetings are actually casual, in the hallways, how are you doing, what you have for breakfast, what's your weight like this week, how's your nutrition plan going, how'd you feel this weekend. Occasionally I will do sit-in one-on-one meetings, doing menu planning and meal planning with the athletes. Sometimes we have clinical issues where athletes have, will come in with blood results that are off, maybe a little iron or a little vitamin D, athletes with stress fractures or things that require kind of nutrition-related counseling. So I'll do that stuff as well. So it's really, it's every day is different, and every minute is different. You never really know kind of what your day is going to look like when you come in. You kind of have an idea, but you never know exactly what's going to come to your door.
I see. So give us a little scenario of say an athlete comes to see. What do you go over first?
Usually just do a quick 24-hour dietary recall, what foods, what a typical day is like for them, find out what their needs are, what they're trying to do, whether they're trying to gain weight, to lose weight, to increase their endurance, to figure out how to eat, around training or to eat around game times. Like I said, every athlete's kind of got a unique need, so I really try to figure out what they're coming to see me for,
okay.
and then we can kind of address how nutrition relates to that.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And Michaela, what kind of diet do you try to stick to?
Coming into A&M as a freshman, I didn't really have one. I went with kind of what I felt for the day. I mean, I always knew, don't eat a pint of ice cream before you go run. That's kind of good. But I never ate breakfast, and that is the biggest thing. You have to eat breakfast. So we take DEXA scans, which is body mass versus bone.
It shows us muscle mass, bone mass, fat mass, and then a % body fat.
Right.
It's actually a low-level X-ray from
we take those 2 or 3 times a year, and then you can kind of like compare between the time before. Anyways, long story short, I now eat breakfast in the morning. I eat usually a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something around that, or I'm like a really big tuna fan.
Oh, nice.
So I got into that, and I'll eat that like an hour before practice, and then like a kind of easy meal at night. I have like study hours, so we have to like kind of work around that. But the biggest challenge was snacks at night, because I'm like a really big dessert girl, and you can't do that because it gets bad. And,
I feel your pain.
I know.
I feel your pain. What? How often do you practice during the day? What would be a typical day for you?
A typical day is wake up, have classes in the morning, so around like 8 to 1, and then go home, eat, go to practice around 2:45. If it's a weight room day, you're not going to be done until probably 5:30, 6 o'clock. Just depends upon if you get your stuff, if you go and you get your stuff done, or you know how you're performing at that day. Then I come home, eat what I can, then go to bright hours, which is like our study hours, and that's for 2 hours, and that's only Monday through Wednesday. And then go home and sleep and just keep sleeping until you have to wake up and do it again.
So, do you notice, and I'm assuming that you do allow yourself some cheat days here and there, stuff that you really want, sorry, but, yeah, I won't tell them. But do you see a difference in your performance when you eat different than your normal diet?
Oh, for sure. If you, like you said, it's just kind of, if you stick to what you know you should, don't eat that pint of ice cream before practice, or don't eat like 2 minutes before practice, like a big meal. I see people doing that all the time, and they like, oh, it's fine. Okay, after like the 5th like lap around the track, your stomach's hurting and you're cramping, and it's a big problem, especially if you don't drink water. That's like a big issue if you're not drinking water throughout the day. Hydration, because that can lead to like muscles just pulling and everything. So hydration is actually like a big thing, which I never did either.
Yeah.
I just drink. I hate water, but now I love it, of course. But,
and John, what is the difference between someone who just wants to be healthy and a collegiate athlete?
I mean, there's definitely a big difference. You know, collegiate athletes, their bodies are their machines. You know, it's their tool. They're competing and active, you know, on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. You know, the average person is, you know, maybe works out 2 or 3 times a week. You know, they need to eat for their overall health. I think Arian Foster just had a quote maybe a month ago at the start of the football season, that his body is a machine, and he eats to fuel himself. He doesn't eat for pleasure anymore. He doesn't necessarily enjoy it. He understands that he needs food for his body and the fuel, and you know, so that's his approach to eating, and you know, it's definitely a different thing. You know, if you're not an athlete, you can have a lot more of those cheat days. You know.
Yeah. But not, I'm sure it's performance.
Yeah.
You know, And for both y'all, just one last question before we go. What advice do you have to people who are looking to be student athletes when they come to college?
You want to go first? Okay, I'll go
I'll
first.
let you handle it.
Okay, always have perseverance.
Okay.
Stay being a competitor. And never give up, ever, because you will always just keep pushing through, even when you have hard times. Injuries, everything, just keep pushing through.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you have to be persistent. You know, like you said, you have to have that drive and that goal of, you know, find out what your goals are and set your goals high and try to reach those goals for sure.
That's so awesome. Thank y'all so much. We've had an amazing show today. Hopefully we can all admire athletes just a little more.